Here's how I get leads and convert them into customers. I created a website called contentmadeeasy.ca. What I'm suggesting is that you think about doing something similar to this, whether you have your own website or you create a new website. I'm not going to explain how to create and host websites in this course. There's plenty of information around for that, but this is how we do it. What I generally do is I use a lead generating tactic where I offer a free report. And what you're looking at here is the front page. So if you go to contentmadeeasy.ca, this is what you'll see. Naturally, your name and things would be different, and you wouldn't call yours Content Made Easy. But one tip I want you to take away is give your program a name, brand it. I called it Content Made Easy. I mean, you could call it, Social Media Made Easy or something. But the whole idea is that you package it up and you give it a name that makes it sound tangible. And you use a lead capture page like this. I'm using a service called Lead Pages, and you can use anything you want. Aweber, Lead Pages, do it manually. MailChimp, Infusionsoft. I mean, honestly, I use all of these tools. It doesn't really matter what the tool is. What matters is the function, and the function is this. When you are speaking with people, or when you are talking to people, or when you are sending emails or commenting on forums, or even just using social media, you're able to then, you kind of bait and switch people. I know that sounds rather negative, but it's not. You don't sell people on the service because you're going to have maybe 1 or 2 out of every 100 say yes, and that's hard work. So what you do is you don't focus on selling the service initially, you focus on promoting your free report here. And in my case, I called it the 5 dirt cheap tactics I use to create bulk digital marketing materials, including social media, articles, blog posts, and autoresponder email sequences. And then I say, enter your email address. Warning, applying the information in this report results in increased content output and a reduction in both costs and time. You click on download and you get what's known as a 2-step opt-in. And up comes a pop-up box that says opt-in to discover, and repeats the offer, and I ask for their email address. And when they enter their email address and click the yellow button, they're added to my autoresponder sequence. In this case, I think I'm using Aweber. And what happens is I send them the report. Now here's the best part. I now have their email address, and over the next few days they get a series of emails from me that actually encourage them to get in touch with me, because one of the things I teach them is how to actually create the content themselves. Now I know you're probably going, well, why would you do that? That sounds remarkably stupid. If you're going to teach them how to do it themselves, why would they need me? Well, here's why. One of the things I learned a long time ago, and this was by chance more than anything, I've been teaching and lecturing and coaching people on technology and software for decades. And here's what I've always found. Whenever I get a classroom full of students, I teach them how to do all this stuff. I show them behind the curtain. I give them all the materials. They're like, oh, this is awesome. You're great, blah, blah, blah. About 20% of every student that ever goes through one of my classes comes up to me afterwards and said, wow, this is great. Now I know how it all works. And now I absolutely appreciate why I don't want to do it. In other words, educating them on all that's involved makes them trust you, makes them believe in you, makes them understand just how hard this stuff is. And I pretty much guarantee you're going to get at least a couple of them turn around and go, I don't want to do that. Would you do that for me? At which point you smile and say, absolutely. And there you go. Oh, and did you think that there were going to be any hard pitches in there? Nope. Do you think that I was going to try and teach you some sort of Jedi mind tricks about how to get past objections? No. I'm an okay salesman. I'm probably a bit better than most. But I don't really try and convince people of much of anything. I put things in front of them. I show it to them. If they want it, they want it. If they don't want it, they don't want it. And in the case of this training, if you teach people how to get through things, yeah, sure, some of them are going to learn how to do it themselves. But there's a portion, and a large number, in fact, it turns out, especially when they're business people, they will turn around now they've been educated and fully appreciating the challenge that faces them. They will want to outsource it. And you will not really get any grief about the price you charge, because now you don't have to educate them on how hard it is to do the job. You don't have to educate them on the value. This is one of the sneakiest, if you will, sales techniques I learned a long time ago. Educate people, and you get about maybe 20%, as I say. Yeah, maybe more, maybe less. I mean, you can probably get higher numbers if you squeeze a bit more, but I think I've indicated elsewhere, I'm a hyper efficient individual. Some say lazy. I prefer not working hard. I prefer working smart. And if I can get somebody to go through my training and come out the other side going, I think I want what you're offering because I'm not doing that, then I see that as a slam dunk. Let me show you what this video looks like. Sorry, what this report looks like. So here is what this report looks like when it loads up. Okay, this is actually a Keynote presentation. Keynote is the Mac equivalent, or the Mac, I suppose, equivalent to PowerPoint. So let me just minimize that for a sec, and let me show you what the report looks like. See how it's familiar? It looks exactly like the front page, and it says same information, but instead of enter your email address now, it just says thank you. So this is what it looks like inside. The 5 dirt cheap tactics I used to create. Writing content takes time, or does it? Bear in mind, I created a report using Keynote, PowerPoint, and that makes it really nice and quick. And I'm going to blow through this quite fast because if you look in the resource section, I've given you this presentation, okay? So you can use it. I've given you the raw presentation so you can use it. Now, please edit my name out of it or edit my company name out of it. Don't. Obviously, I mean, by all means, promote me if you want, but I don't recommend it. It's really not going to help you too much. See, my name's at the bottom, right? This is tactic 1. I tell people if you want to create content in a hurry, use a guest blogger. There are tens of thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands of people out there that will write for you for free. Remember, in this course, I'm teaching you how to take $50 and turn it into 500. And I mean, obviously, that's a nice round number. It can be a lot more than that. Well, imagine if I told you how to take 0 and turn it into 500. Use a guest blogger. Seriously. You can get people give you stuff for exposure, and then you can sell it to other people. It's mind-blowing. Anyway, as you can tell, I find the whole thing fascinating. Tactic 2, article directories. Again, you don't necessarily have to pay somebody to write this content. Go and freely license the content. I'm not suggesting stealing anything, absolutely not. I'm a writer, and if anyone rips me off, I get really upset. I mean, it's hard work, right? But there are places out there where you can get content for free. Look at this. Syndicate. Reach out to other writers. We're always looking to have our words go far and wide. If you're looking for content, and remember, this is a lead tool that you pass potential clients for your services. You send them at that website. They download this report, and it gives them all these cool ideas. Private label rights. Okay, another place where they can go and get the content, download it. PLR continued. There's training courses. It goes beyond articles. You can get into some fairly involved stuff. And finally, there's hiring a ghostwriter. Of course, a ghostwriter is that flashy name for a company to go out and say, I'm going to hire somebody to write for me. Well, now we're beginning to sort of pivot towards them thinking about you, potentially. Of course, ghostwriters are expensive. I mean, I'm a ghostwriter, amongst other things, and we are expensive. We're invisible, and we create content for people, and they never know it's us, so damn it, we're going to get paid well. So we do. So now this lead generating report is showing a small business that they could hire a ghostwriter. Well, that's fantastic. Here's a couple of things that you would educate them on about following the rules. Then, of course, if you actually look closely in this, and I know I'm moving through it quickly, but if you take the time and look through this presentation, you're going to notice things like content is never free, There's always some kind of payment for a client who wants to do something like this. First of all, they're going to have to spend work on it. Then they're going to have to find it, locate it, chop it up, arrange the licensing. You see, there's work. Even if it's free, it's not free. And, of course, there's me at the end. And again, you would change phone numbers, faces, websites, pitch information. The whole idea, though, is that this sort of says to them, if you want to do all this cool stuff, you can, right? Hence the report. That's my lead generator. And inside that, there's a series of emails that I send to people that talks to them more about what happens. And that's typically it. I've got a series of emails that are going to be, if you look inside the resource section, there should be some text files here which actually show you some of the emails that we send out. And again, this isn't rocket science. You know, when a person wakes up and goes, oh my gosh, I need content, I need social media, my small business, we're sort of sitting out there and nobody's doing it. Or maybe, Bob or Mary over in accounting or somebody in marketing is sort of doing it kind of occasionally, and it's a mess. So we need to know that somebody's got our back and dealing with this on a regular basis. Well, that's where you come in. And this particular page, this lead capture, this lead generating tool, this is one of many. By the way, one of the tricks that I use is I get business cards printed up that look just like this landing page, sort of the same thing. And then when I'm at networking events, I'll hand out a business card that looks like this. And of course, I'm always pitching this. Would you like my free report? It reveals the 5 dirt cheap tactics I use to create bulk content. See, a lot of people, when they get to know me at these various events that I go to locally, they seem to think that I'm this prolific writer, and I am, but at the same time, I'm a publisher at heart, which means I'm always looking for other writers and other content creators and other sources of content, and I license it, I syndicate it, I buy it, and I publish it, which makes what I do 10 times more impactful because there's more of it. And you're going to turn around to companies and say, well, I can help you with this. In fact, I'll point you in the right directions. And that's what this is all about. Easy when you know how.